Hello everyone, how are you all? Hope you all will be fine and fit. As you all know, today we have webinar with our speaker Miss Anita Mangar from Mauritius. The topic of our today's webinar is exploring online course design. As we all know that we have three sessions in our webinar. Those who are very much related and linked to us, they know we go with the three sessions. I want to repeat that what will happen our today's webinar. We will have three sessions. In first session, Miss Anita will present the presentation on the topic in front of you. After that, the session will take place in which we will get our guest. She is Miss 𝘆cie𝗂'𝗹𝗹 from Chakwal, and she will ask a few questions from Ma'am Anita. That session will be of about 10 minutes. After that session, we will have the third session, which is very much important for all those who want to take the certificates, who want to take the free certificates of this webinar. In that session, we will take the question answer from our audience, from our people who are watching live, and after that after these question answers, in between that session we might send a feedback form link in any at any time. So we are not bound with the feedback forms starting or ending. We can send in between start or at end. So don't again and again comment that send the feedback form link. And one more thing which I want to make sure and make clear to you all, that those those who are joining us through the browser, but still they are not they have not signed into their browser, they are just joining us through the link. They will not they will not view the comment section. People are complaining again and again through the email that we have no approach towards the comment section, or the comment section is absent from our browser. So it is request to all of you, if you are joining through the browser, not from the YouTube application, you can you have to just sign into your account from the Google first, then you will receive the comments from our today's webinar. After that, what is the feedback form and why you have to fill the feedback form? A very simple and very short clarification is that feedback form make you enable to receive the certificates. When you fill the feedback form, we come to know that yes, this person has attended our webinar, and then we provide the certificate to those people who only fill the feedback form. And one last thing, that those people who are complaining that we have filled the registration form but we didn't get the certificate, for those, that right now in this webinar we have 400 registration forms, but we how can we provide the participation certificates to 400 people while we have not 400 people here live with us? So those who will join us live and fill the feedback form, only those people will receive the feedback the e-certificate. So I think this is all which are the instructions. And now I will start the short introduction of our today's webinar. Miss Anita Mangar has wide experience in teaching English at different levels, from school to university. She has achieved many certificates in the field of English, TEFL, TESOL, teaching IELTS, and technology enriched teaching, and the place of the music in 21st century education, to name a few. She has also achieved a certificate in speech and drama at from Trinity College London in 2021. She has her blog called Anita's Musings. She has had her articles published in newspapers and magazines. She recently worked as freelance corporate English trainer, which involves which involved teaching young adults. She also teach music and can play the piano. That's amazing. Now, after this type of introduction, I will welcome with my heart and core to our Miss Anita Mangar, and now I will give my further proceedings of the webinars to Ma'am. Ma'am, please proceed and welcome to the Universal Webinars. Thank you, ma'am.
Lovely introduction.
Thank you.
I would just like to add a little bit more about myself personally. And I would like to say that I'm a lifelong learner, and the word impossible doesn't exist for me. I keep on learning and learning new things, and this is how I'm able to learn and share my knowledge with everybody. So, can we start now?
Yes, ma'am. Sure. Here's your presentation.
So, I can change the slides after this, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, as the word denotes, it's an exploration of online course design, right? So, let's see what we have here. Before I go any further, I would like to acknowledge the Open Online Professional English Network, of which I'm a part of. I'm an American English e-teacher, and I was nominated by the US Embassy for Mauritius at the beginning of this year to follow a course. And it was online. And as a result of that course, I'm cascading my knowledge to all of you here. And at the same time, I'm sharing my experience because I have made a course myself and using that model, which we are going to see. Okay, so let's look at the objectives. By the end of this presentation, all of you present here will be able to analyze the different parts of the ADDIE model for instructional design, plan and create the basic sections of a course outline, develop a module framework, and apply Mayer's principles of multimedia learning. I would like to add here, please keep a paper and pen ready to take down notes because a little further on there's going to be a little activity for you. So we move on to the ADDIE model. I know there are many different instructional design frameworks, but today this webinar is going to be on the ADDIE model. What is the ADDIE model? It's an acronym, okay? ADDI. A is for analysis, D is for design, again another D, that's for develop, implementation, and evaluate. Now, the diagram on the right, it's on the right side, is represented in a linear fashion. This is just for ease of reading. Actually, look at the one on the left, which is circular because the ADDIE model is circular. It has been updated and it is circular. Towards the end of the presentation, you will understand why I'm saying it is circular. So let's carry on with the different parts of the ADDIE module. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, the ADDIE model. Many people have said different things about it. The main thing is to see that it helps you to plan, to reflect, to evaluate. You can read all of this. Okay, now, who is it useful for? Teachers, trainers, course creators. When I say course creators, anybody who wants to make a small course, maybe you have a small tuition class. So let's see how you're going to plan with using that ADDIE model. Instructional designers, this is one of the models that you have to learn if you want to become an instructional designer. Structuring online courses. Nowadays, there are plenty of online courses. Let's see. You could use the ADDIE model. Graphic designers. Now, you would say, oh, graphic designers, what has that got to do with this? There are certain ways you could use graphics in this. When I carry on through the rest of it, you will see how you could use the graphics. Why, Addy? Why? Good quality design, clear learning objectives, carefully structured content. Very important. We need to know what content we are going to be giving the learners. What are they going to be learning? Controlled workloads. When you say controlled workloads, it means that there's not a cognitive overload. Integrated media, here you are. Your graphic designers, you would be able to put media into this. Relevant student activities. Assessment based on learning outcomes. We're going to the first one. The first stage, which is A, analyze. For analyze, you would need to do a needs analysis. There are reasons for doing it. And what would you like to know? You'd like to get an insight into the audience, their age, their background, their interests, their attitudes, their objectives for taking the course, the purpose for taking the course, age level, and trends. Now, I'm stressing on trends here because when I made out my course, I had a mix of learners. They were of different levels, their English. It was a course to prepare them for jobs. And in my class, I had two different groups. One group was 18 to 30 years old. They were people who had no job experience, they were just entering the job market. The other group was 30 plus, who already had job experience. They had lost their jobs because of the pandemic and they were recycling into other jobs. So the two groups had different, definitely ages, different backgrounds, different interests, different ways of learning, different attitudes, different even levels of using technology. So when I made out my course, I had to stakeholders. Okay, now we come to the stakeholders. These would be the trainers or the teachers themselves, parents, if it's education, and administrators. Now, I would like to talk about administrators because the course that I was giving, it was geared towards this job market. They were being trained for jobs in the BPO sector to use English. So I had to find out, I had to have a meeting with them to find out the stakeholders would be where they were going to do their internship, plus the director of the school, and find out what was the focus of the training that I was going to give them. This is why I needed the opinion of the stakeholders. So, how did I do the analysis? I used a survey, but you could use other tools like multiple choice questions, ranking, open ended for the survey, focus groups, you could use interviews, you could use observations, anything that would get you plenty of information. Remember that you need information, you need data. We come to the learner story. This part of it is what do you include? Please note down this part, the name of your course. So think of a course, the number of hours that you think you would give that course for, the characteristics of your learners based on findings from analysis. You can't do an analysis now, but you could probably think of which learners you would be targeting. Now, remember, you have to keep in mind the objectives of your course on the whole. These are based on your learner story. That's the needs of your learners. Remember, not only the needs of your learners, the needs of your stakeholders. So they would be SMART, which I think everybody is familiar with: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. Now let's add another layer to it. Okay, so we have Bloom's taxonomy. Again, everybody is aware of this. These are combined with SMART objectives, and these are the verbs, okay, that you could use. Now, we get to an online environment. So another layer, you have a digital taxonomy. You're aware of the HOTS and the LOTS. Aim for the HOTS: blogging, filming, podcasting, directing, grading, testing. You can read the whole lot of it. It's not difficult. And then you have some examples. These are some examples that I found. Some tips. Identify 2 to 4 skills that you want to be achieved by your course. Write 2 to 4 course objectives using SMART criteria and Bloom's digital taxonomy verbs. Write a course description based on your learner story. Now, this is an example of the course that I gave. Okay, my course was called Based on My Learners. This course is created for English as a second language, intermediate level, job seekers for roles in the service or BPO sector to attain upper intermediate levels. This is through the enhancement of skills in the areas of language, grammar, vocabulary, listening, and writing. The focus is on communication, fluency, and pronunciation. Communication, fluency, and pronunciation were the focus areas that the school wanted, and that where they were going to do, the employer where they were going to do their internship. So I added it in here. Now the objectives of the course. Watch carefully. By the end of the 160-hour course, over a 4 to 5 week period, students will be able to create and produce a video blog using the present, past, and future tenses in English, demonstrate conversation skills, compose business letters, develop. Believe me, it was a 4 to 5 week course, 160 hours. Very intensive, and they did achieve the course objectives. Now it's your turn. A short activity for you. Write your course name. Write a course description based on a learner's story. Imagine one. And write some course objectives. I'm taking you back to the previous slide in a few seconds, and you can see how I've made out mine, and you can copy that. Okay? Right, now you can have a look at this and try and write one for yourself. I can show you the learner story part. Yeah. Okay, shall we move on? Now we get to the design part. This is the most time-consuming part, but it has to be done, which is a course outline. We all have heard of course outlines. Now, what goes into that course outline? Your course description, topic or theme, description for whom and for what purpose, course objectives, specific skills to be developed, which you have already had an exercise in. The previous exercise was for that. So you already have these two written out. Now you get to the course schedule, which is an overall plan for all modules. Include the module topics, objectives, the time frame. Now you have your assessment plan, how to measure the course objectives, and then the required materials. Remember, all this goes into your course outline, whatever is here on this slide. Here is an example of a course schedule. This is the one that I did. Okay. I've only put 3, but mine was 5 weeks. Anyway, it's for 1 week, module 1, the topics. Now I have objectives here of each module. And I've had here, written here, the assessment tasks. You can see there's English here, there's communication, there's business writing, and I have put for all of them, I have put objectives of each module. Remember SMART? We have to keep that in mind. Now we come to the design of a single module framework, a plan for each module. Now you would say to me, oh, for each module, that's going to be a very difficult task. No, it isn't. Because you're going to have the same framework for each and every module. Your content will change, but your content will change, work will remain the same. So you've got to have a structure to it. You've got to have repetition. It has to have the element of predictability. Because if I'm a student and I'm taking the course, I must know what is in each module. I must know that the next activity is coming or assessment is coming or whatever. Must be familiar and have a pattern. The same number and same order of learning assets. What is a learning asset? Learning assets, any course item that learners can interact with. Example, readings, discussions, videos, and quizzes. Decide where you're going to put these learning assets. In the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of the module. This is an example of a module framework which I had for my course. Okay? Module overview. In this overview, I presented whatever was going to be covered in the module. As far as content, whatever was there. Then I had a warm-up, then vocabulary, listening asset, discussion, a reading, a comprehension quiz, and then a writing assignment. Now we come to hybrid design in online instruction. There's a lot of misconception about hybrid design. People think that hybrid means in-person and online. Remember, this course is an online course. So how would you do that? You'd have to have asynchronous and synchronous learning assets or activities. Asynchronous would be where students could interact with the content on their own. Learn and review at their own pace, can have flexibility to choose when they can learn. Teachers can give feedback to students according to their individual pace. There are less possibilities for technical difficulty because the learning materials are recorded. So this would mean videos. And also it's good because all the learners aren't of the same level. So they could watch videos like to catch up. An example would be like for me, some of my learners didn't know how to use the and the. So I added a video where they could go and learn about the and the, when to use it, how to use it. Okay. Now you could have synchronous activities. All that's mentioned here is with the teacher, but you could also have synchronous activities with the whole group and the teacher. As I did it in Zoom and I used breakout rooms. So they had their discussions in breakout rooms. We also had it also as a full group activities. Now let's go on. Here you are. You have some examples. The synchronous would be discussions, meeting as a group, or meeting in small groups, where the teacher could monitor even and be with them. Use blended learning for maximum benefit. Here's an example of a hybrid module framework. Now, we did a module framework. We're going to add another layer, and this layer is going to be using asynchronous and synchronous activities. Synchronous that I have added. Remember, this is in an online environment. Okay, I just like to point out one or two. Now here you are, you have mind maps, which is synchronous, can be done in groups, online, and it works very well. You can read through the others. It's not difficult. It's simply keeping in mind that we have to have a mix of both. We come to develop now. In the ADDI module, we come to develop. Develop assessments. Assessments evaluate or measure learning progress. So we can have formative or we can have summative. This is formative is along the way, and summative may be at the end of a module, or it may be at the end of the course. Up to you. Assessments. Keep in mind the objectives. Objectives of your course, objectives of each module. The language level, it shouldn't be too difficult, it shouldn't be too easy either. The length, the type of questions, feedback at the end of each module, what kind of feedback you're going to give them, and rubrics. Have a scoring guide so that they know what is expected of them. Now we come to develop learning assets, multimedia. Maybe many of you are familiar with this, not, but I'd like to go through this with you. Richard Mayer's Principles for Developing Online Learning Assets. There's the personalization principle, not formal, but conversational style. The voice principle, a clear human voice. Signaling principle, use your own voice. Emphasize certain important points or ideas. Interactivity principle, the student controls the speed of your learning assets. These would be the videos which they can watch. So study keywords, difficult words before. This could be technical words, this could be vocabulary, anything special that they need to learn as far as words are concerned. Carry on with the principles. There's the multimedia principle. Words and visuals, not only words. Contiguity principle, words plus visuals near each other. Coherence principle, no extra words, visuals, and sounds. Nothing extra. Modality principle, visuals and spoken words, not visuals and written words. Segmenting principle, divide online lesson in parts. These are the principles we could use for developing online assets. Now, this is an example of a learning asset that I made. Now, remember, sometimes we need to teach a certain point. There are YouTube videos, but it is not tailored and catered for our learners. So you would have to learn how to make it. That's why you need these principles to help you. Okay? And this is what I used. I had written the script, and then I could make my video. I had the picture, I had everything. You can see it when you get the slides. Okay, this is just an example of what I did. Now we come to the last, no, implement, right? Implement is not the last stage. Online tools for learning. This increases student engagement, motivation. It works well with synchronous and asynchronous learning assets and effective. Now, this picture here can give you an idea of all the different things that we have. These tools are all the different apps that you have, the different things that you use. I used Flipgrid, I used tools. When you're choosing online tools, remember, it should be simple. Try it out yourself first before you ask your students to use it. It should help to achieve module and course objectives. It should be fun at the same time and you learn things at the same time. It should allow for different levels and speeds of learning. It should allow for you to do research, innovate, create, develop critical thinking skills, get together in groups or as a class, communicate and work, help learn new technology. Now we come to evaluate. I have it done very simply here, but there is something called Kirkpatrick's model of evaluation, which I need to mention here, which you could read about and use that. So the tools we have: achievement data, your completion rates, who finishes the course, the grades, when and where they got them during the course opinion data, how students enjoyed your course, their opinions, the surveys, you could use Mentimeter, Google Forms, the results. After you get the results, reflect, make changes, and improve your course. This is where the circular element of the ADDIE module comes into effect. Because then you can go back again and plan again and do it all over again. Another thing is I would like to mention here is that you can add more modules to your course outlines. It depends on you. How many you want, how many you think is enough. So let's have a recap. A, analysis; D, design; D, develop; E, implement; implementation, evaluate. Analysis, we have already seen how to do that. The needs, requirements, tasks, participants' current capabilities, design, learning objectives, delivery format, activities, exercise. You can go through all of this. Happy planning of your online course. I had a lot of fun doing it. I know it takes time, but I was happier at the end of it. Thank you so much for being here. Now, can we go over to Mr. Sami?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. This was very wonderful and knowledgeful and a worthy presentation, hopefully for we all. And now, as you all know, that we have the second session, which is of the question answer from our guest. So I will aid our today's guest with us, Miss 𝘆cie𝗂'𝗹𝗹. We welcome Miss 𝘆cie𝗂'𝗹𝗹 from the Chakwal, Pakistan. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am 𝘆cie𝗂'𝗹. Hello, ma'am. Are you there, ma'am 𝘆cie𝗂'𝗹? Hello, ma'am 𝘆cie𝗂'𝗹. Are you there? Hello, ma'am. Ma'am 𝘆cie𝗂'𝗹, am I audible to you? I think she is facing the internet issue or any other issue. So till that, ma'am join us or ma'am respond to us. I request all of my participants to comment your questions in the comment box for ma'am Anita. Those who have any queries or the questions, they can comment their questions in the comment box. And ma'am 𝘆cie𝗂'𝗹, if you are listening to me, please respond back. Hello, ma'am 𝘆cie𝗂'𝗹, am I audible to you? Hello, ma'am, am I audible to you? Till ma'am 𝘆cie𝗂'𝗹 respond, please. All the participants, post your questions in the comment session. Ma'am 𝘆cie𝗂'𝗹, am I audible to you? If I'm audible to you, please respond back. Otherwise, you might lost the chance. I think ma'am is facing internet issue. Till ma'am rejoin, I request the participants to post your questions that we might forward them to Miss Anita to clear your queries. Ma'am, tell the participants paste here the questions. We have some questions from the forms which we have received. So we are forwarding these questions to you.
Okay.
Ma'am, here is the first question. Ma'am, the question is on the screen.
What are the contributing factors? Yeah, I can see it. What are the contributing factors that forbids us to explore online course design? A factor could be that you're given a textbook and that you have a textbook to follow.
That's okay. Here is another one, ma'am.
It could be one of the factors. Um, yeah. How to be well prepared and creative using any online applications in teaching. Yes, well prepared and creative. As I said, get applications that the students would be of their level, which they could use. And there are so many new ones. Explore it yourself, try it out yourself, and then use it. Can we go
Ma'am,
on to
here
the
we
next one?
yes, ma'am. Here we have another one.
How can we have those who still struggle with getting involved in the digital world, seeing the way everything is going digital?
Ma'am,
Ah,
it has the other part as well, which is this one. Yes, ma'am. Here
those
is the
who do
second
not
part.
have the means, data, smartphone, tablets, and laptop, how do we help? Well, this is online courses, right? You can use WhatsApp also. Well, I don't know if you don't have data and smartphone, but this is for online courses. So, can we go on to the next one? Yeah. How can we have those who still struggle with
This
getting
is the
involved?
same one, ma'am. Please.
Yeah, the same one which you put before.
Yes, ma'am. Our today's guest, Miss Huzaima, has texted our
Oh, she back?
texted a question. No, sir, she's not back because of the internet. She has
Okay. Why
texted
do we
here the
need?
question. This is the question of our Miss Huzaima, I want, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Why do we need audience insight and stakeholders to analyze reasons? We need their insight because it has to be tailored to their level, their needs, and stakeholders also have needs. They are not going to give you a green light if you're not going to follow their needs. Okay, and if the course is specifically like mine was that's what I would have to display, that's what I would have to teach any way I could.
Ma'am, here is the another question from Miss Humaira.
Ma'am, being a teacher, I want to know how to write teaching philosophy. What do you mean by how to write? I don't understand the question so well.
Ma'am, the other question from Ma'am Huzaima. That was her second question.
Okay. What are the limitations of ADDIE model? ADDIE model tends to depends how you use it. The next thing is you cannot use this for a business training. Okay, where you need quick returns, you need to tackle a problem, a singular problem. The ADDIE model is not going to work. You would have to use action mapping by Kathy Moore. If you have the
Ma'am,
time, about
here
it.
is the next one.
Is it better to learn more on giving performance tasks as part of the course? What would be a good example? Yes, it depends. Performance tasks would be like making a video. I've done with my students, they put videos on Flipgrid and they were marked on that. Okay, so how can we help those who still, again,
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. This is repeating actually. This is some technical error here. So we have no further question. If anyone wants to ask anything
okay.
from ma'am, kindly ask as soon as possible because we are going to end our today's webinar. Those who want to ask some questions, please ask. Ma'am, we have another question through the email from Mr. Anil. I am going to show that to you. This one, ma'am.
What are the basic fundamental guidelines we should obey in design approach? There are many models, okay? There's Gagne's 9 events, there's action mapping, there are different ones. But you want the basic fundamental guidelines. I think I have gone through this in my presentation about when you get the slides, you can look through it.
That's okay, ma'am. So this is, I think, all from the question answers. I request the audience
The next one,
to
yeah.
to post the questions if they have. This is the Ma'am, I
Okay, I'd
think
like to say
this is all
something.
from. Yes, ma'am. Please it.
I hope this has helped everybody. Okay, I hope this my presentation has given you some more insight into the ADDIE model, and especially for teachers, even though we have a curriculum and things like that, you can try it out. Okay,
So this is all from our today's webinar. Thank you very much, ma'am. And hopefully this was very
welcome.
much useful presentation and useful information, especially for those who are the curriculum developers or the teachers, or those who have some group of students and they're leading them. So this is very much important for them. So now I request all of the participants to fill the feedback form, and after that you will receive the certificate. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us, and
Welcome.
honorably and honorfully you can leave, and because we will live for the further 5 minutes to get the feedback form responses. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, I can leave.
Yes, ma'am. You can leave.
Okay, thank
Thank you,
you.
ma'am. Thank you very much. Here is the feedback form link in the comment section. No, Salman Sumro, there is no link. There's only the feedback form link which I have shared with you. I think that the previous link was not appropriate. I might think because some people have messaged me that this is not workable. So there is another link. Please fill the feedback from this one. And those who want to avoid from the error to get the certificate or who do not want delay in the certificate, kindly subscribe to our channel. The link is in the comment box. You can go through the link and fill the feedback form. And at last, the 14 participants who are with us, I want to request them and want to tell them, those who want to join us live in our next webinar, which is on the next Sunday hopefully, Miss Jyotisha, she is our next speaker. Those who want to join us in that webinar as guest are those who are very much interested to be the speaker in our webinar. They're requested to email us or WhatsApp us or text us on the Facebook. Those who want to join us as a guest or as a speaker or as a participants, they can mail us, they can message us on WhatsApp or on the Facebook Messenger. So those who are very much interested to be the speaker, guest, or the participant, they can email, text, or messages on Facebook or the WhatsApp. The feedback form link is already sent to you. I have again sent the three feedback form links. And now I am going to end this session. Thank you very much to all of you, and thank you to everyone who joined us today. And those who are very much worried about that, where is the feedback form link and where from we have to fill the feedback form, I am repeating, I have commented the feedback form link. Those who are not receiving it on the browser, there might be the issue with you that you haven't joined, you haven't signed into your Google account in the browser. That's why you are not receiving this type of link, but I have already pasted it, so you can look at it in the comment box. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. And those who can't see the evaluation form link or the feedback form link, they have to sign in first in the Google, and then they can get access to the comment session of this YouTube. So thank you very much. Have a good day. We are going to end this broadcast. Thank you very much. Thank you all of you. Thank you. See you in the next on the next Sunday with another topic and with another webinar.